Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. I'm your host, Brother Deshone, the auto advisor. And all I care about is making sure you pay less than everyone else for cars and never spend more than 30 minutes in a car dealership. That's been my mission. I spent 14 years in the car business. Now we do these live streams to make sure you have the strategies you need to save thousands of dollars, because there's only three prices you can pay with any car. Three prices: market value, above market value, or below market value. So all we talk about here is how to pay below market value, which leads to thousands and thousands of dollars in savings. And you can start typing your questions in and we will get to them one by one. So we appreciate you actually tuning in with us. Everything what I'll be talking about on this stream is out of my new digital book. It is called Cars from Home. That's a mindset. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. You can get a copy of it anytime over the next 30 minutes for 75% off. It's normally a $97 book. It's worth every penny. You can see it's 5 stars. You can Google it. But as part of my welcome offer, I want to give it to you for 75% off. So if you get to my TikTok bio before 30 minutes or my Instagram bio, click that website there, or the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, you'll click a link that you can activate that 75% off and get your book for $24 instead of $97. But it's only for 30 minutes, so make sure you get there before 30 minutes is up. Okay, so we're going to start out with Mary's question, which is what to say if I'm asked to make a down payment. First thing you have to realize is down payments are not mandatory, and in all but 2 cases, they're unnecessary. So down payments, let's say you're looking at a car, it's $25,000. You want to buy it. The bank will lend as long as you have good credit, fair credit, good credit, great credit, 20% above what the car's value is. So if you're buying a car for $25,000, the bank will lend another, let's call it $5,000. So they'll lend $30,000 against a $25,000 vehicle. Now, what does that $30,000 entail? Well, let's say you want to put no money down and you want to buy the car and put your taxes in the loan. The bank will approve that. Let's say you want to buy it and put your fees, which may be a documentation fee and DMV fees. Those are the only 3 legitimate fees: tax, DMV, documentation. So you put that in there. So now that takes you from 26, 25. With the taxes, you go up to 28. With the fees, you go up to 29. The bank will lend up to 30 or 20% above the vehicle's value, which is 25, which means you can do a no money down deal. It is not required. Let's say the vehicle's value is 25, but because you have no shopping strategy, you pay 28. The bank only is going to lend 30 because the price you paid for the vehicle does not affect the value of the vehicle. If the value was 25 and you paid 28, the bank's lending 30. Now, the same is true if you get a big discount. Let's say the value of the vehicle is 25 and you get it for 20. The bank is still going to lend what? Up to what? Come on, type in the chat so I know who I'm talking to. I need to make sure I'm talking to the locked in people. 30, exactly. So the loan to value ratios don't change regardless of what you pay for the vehicle. Now, as long as you are trying to get a vehicle and be with everything you want to add to your loan is within the loan to value ratios, money down is not necessary, no matter what they tell you. But what you have to understand is if you come over and you have $5,000 of negative equity, now we have to take that into consideration. Can we do a no money down deal with $5,000 of negative equity? Possibly. It's going to go back to 20% above what the vehicle's value is. So you heard, oh, maybe I get a discount, get me a nice deal, below market deal, knock $3,000-4,000 off. and I can bring over more negative equity. But the only two people who cannot do these no money down deals, and more than the majority of it, is the negative equity people, because you just have too much baggage you're bringing over. And then if your credit is too bad, where you're trying to finance everything, but even with credit being bad, they're normally just charging you a higher interest rate. They're not usually, sometimes you'll see a lower loan to value ratio, but typically the 20% is going to be customary. So it's really the negative equity that stops people from doing no money down deals in most cases. When I was at Mercedes, some of you know I worked for Mercedes for 5 years. People with 800 scores would leave with no car. Negative equity. So if you have a lot of negative equity, your goal is to find a car that you can get a huge discount off of, something like, $7,000-$10,000. Even if you look at somebody like Tiffany bought her Mazda using our strategies, using the strategies in my book. She got $6,530 off. Now that's a $44,000 vehicle. So if she had $6,000 of negative equity to bring over, she could do it, because she got a $6,500 discount off the car she was buying. So this is the basis for understanding no money down, Mary. And a key is for you to understand you need to be shopping for the price of your vehicle. The vehicle you're going to buy, you should be shopping for that with an out the door price, not with a loan. So let's say you are like, I want to buy a Hyundai Elantra. You should target whatever Hyundai Elantra you want, get the equipment, and then get a bunch of offers to see who's going to give you the biggest discount, because they're not all the same. They're very different. This isn't the Apple store. You could go to the Apple store in California, the iPhone's the same as the one in Florida. You go to a Hyundai dealership in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, it's an entirely different price from, Inglewood, New Jersey. A total different price than, Metuchen, New Jersey. They're all different. And that's what you have to understand. When you're shopping for your vehicle, you're shopping for the dealer who's going to sell you the car at the best price. You will handle your financing, your down payment, your interest rates in a separate process. You don't want to mix those two. Okay? That's a good start for you understanding that you should not be in a position where they're telling you make a down payment, unless you put yourself in that position. You follow what I just talked about over the last three minutes, then you should not be in that position. You should understand when a down payment is not necessary. And almost anyone can do these deals with no down payment. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's shoot the next one up. Keep typing your questions. We'll keep getting to them. What's up, Josh? Thanks for liking the video. I see you. Thank you, Bianca. Welcome to the people who are shared. Malik, 621, thank you for sharing. Shout out to the sharers. I see you. It does not go unnoticed. I appreciate everybody who shares, hit that share button, and sends this broadcast to some other people. I appreciate you. All right, AG, car shopping for a used Tesla X, how to save or haggle. There's two types of used car dealerships. When I worked at Mercedes, the first Mercedes-Benz dealership I worked at, big markups, wants to negotiate. Big markups. $7,000, $10,000 markups. Very exclusive cars in the particular case, but even if they didn't, they didn't have to have Mercedes. There's other dealerships that do this. They're going to leave themselves big markup, and then they're going to say, hey, let's negotiate. This is also for dealers who get a lot of traffic, walk-ins. They're either on a highway. They know that we're going to get 50 people on a Saturday to walk in. So they can charge, they put these prices up, and they're not trying to really sell them online. They're trying to sell them to the unsuspecting locals. Now, different dealership says, I'm only going to mark my cars up $1,500 because I want to sell a lot of them. This is an entirely different model, different mindset, different process. Where you will get in trouble is when you're talking to a dealer, or you're about to buy, you're trying to buy from a dealer that has the $1,500 markup, has already priced their car better than anyone, and you're trying to get $2,000 off because you think you're talking to the markup dealers. That's when you end up losing. So how do we know the difference? We use a process. In my book, I have a process called the multiple marketplace strategy, where we have all the marketplaces open where used cars are. if a used car is not on a website, you should not be talking about. You shouldn't be talking to anyone about it. If you can't find a vehicle on a website, a public marketplace, where every dealer wants to sell their cars, do not negotiate on these cars because they can make up prices. Let's say if it was on a website, it'd be 26. You come in, you're like, hey, I like that blue car. Hey, how much y'all asking for it? What's to stop them from saying, hey, yeah, it's not on the website yet. We're going to be asking 29. And then you're like, oh, that sounds kind of high. Well, what did you think? I'm trying to get to like 24. Now, meanwhile, if you'd have sold for 26, you probably would have, asked for, but because you think he's asking 29, now he could talk you down to 26 and you think you got a good deal. Meanwhile, the price they should have listed it for was 26 to begin with. So that's why it's a dangerous, unwinnable game to ever negotiate with a used car that you can't find on a marketplace, public, because that's where their competition is. So we're going back to our system. We're opening up all the marketplaces, CarMax, Carvana, Driveway, eBay Motors, Cars.com, Auto Trader, Car Gurus, and Carfax. 8 marketplaces. Now, all of these marketplaces have different cars. And sometimes you will see a marketplace that has a car here for 34, but the same car is on another marketplace for 32 because they lowered the price. But because you only look at Car Gurus and you're not looking at Carfax, you didn't see that when they lowered the price, this website updates faster than this one. So that's why we're on 8 marketplaces. And then we're narrowing it down based on the first thing you need to do is look at assess the market, I call it. In my book, in my multiple marketplace strategy, this is called assessing the market. What's the low prices? What's the high prices? Where the low side at? Low side is around 22. Okay, I see that. Now, the 22s are going to be garbage cars, accidents, frame damage, title messed up. But every now and then you see one for 22.5, 23, and it has a good Carfax and it has good service record, but it may not be the color you want. So now that has already set the market for you. I want it black, but I see a white one here. It has everything I want, but it's not the color. That means the low side of the market for that car is that. That's assessing the market. So now we're trying to find a vehicle there because, again, there's 3 prices that you can pay for any car. Market value, that's what negotiators pay. Above market value, that's what people who don't negotiate, can't negotiate, don't like negotiating pay. And then you got below market value, which is what people who use competitive bidding and put dealers against each other pay. Now, when we look at these low market, now we're trying to see, do we wait for a vehicle to pop up and can we screen down a couple vehicles to get to a top 3 or top 5 best choices? Once we do that, those are the vehicles, AJ, that we're going to see if we can make a final deal on, because they're already at the low side of the market. So what's going to happen? Either they're at the low side of the market and you're dealing with a dealer like the first Mercedes deal I worked up, meaning they're not going to sell the car for that price. They're going to try to mark up prep fees and marketing fees and all types of bogus fees, but they want you to come in first. They're not going to put that online. They want people to come in and say, hey, I saw this car. And then by the time, who's ever sat down, be honest, if you've ever sat down, you came to look at a car, they were asking like 22. But by the time everything got added up, they slapped like $7,000 more on it. Warranties, all types of stuff. And you're like, wait, who's had that happen? Type me if that's happened. And I need you to dialogue. Listen, I'm talking to the locked in people. Right, I see you, Josh, 100%. Okay, so this is a tactic. Look, absolutely. So this has happened to Judy, a lot of people. This is a strategy. It didn't happen by accident. They're purposely depending on people coming in, not calling in advance, and then they want to negotiate with them. Goes back to the first deal I said about the first deal I worked at. They want to negotiate. So the prices are so now that's what we verify. That's what we're only calling those top 3 to 5 dealers and saying, hey, besides besides the price here online, what fees do you charge? Once they say, oh no, tax, title, fee, doc, all right, now we know our last step is we need to get the original window sticker price so we can find out the true discount. Because we need to know, AJ, if we're dealing with a dealer who has the markup or not. And we never ask them for a discount over the phone. We go there because you got to understand these. I'm telling you how dealers operate because I've been inside. Every dealer who puts a used car on a website, we use a tool called V-Auto. It tells us where the vehicle we have priced at, where it ranks in the pricing. It'll tell us if we're in the top 3 best prices within 50 miles. It tells us that. So when you ask them for, hey, can you take off $2,000, $1,000 over the phone, especially if the car just got there, they're going to say, nah, listen, you can come in, we can see, but the car just got here. What we do is we drive there. We already know it's the best price on the market. So either way, we're coming home with a car. Unless it just doesn't drive well or something like that. Every now and then that happens. But usually when we leave and we know we've done our assessment from home, we're going to make that deal. That's how I did with my Infinity truck. I just had to test drive it, lock the deal up. When we do that, that's all we're doing when we get there. And we already know. Now, what we'll do, we'll ask them, hey, could you take off another $1,000? If they have it, they'll do it. If they don't, they might say, listen, we don't have it. The car just got here. I only got the car marked up. You see, we know they're telling the truth because we've done the research online. So now you know if you're programmed to only, hey, if I don't get 2,000 off, 3,000 off, then I can't buy it. And you're going to miss the dealers who want to, they literally put their cars online. They want them going in 24, 48 hours. They make sure they're the best price, and they sell lots of used cars. You go in there trying to get 2,000, 3,000 off from them, you're missing opportunities. That's how it goes. Okay, this is all, that's all part of my multiple marketplace strategy. It's in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. As part of my welcome offer, you can get your copy for 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. So you go to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. You won't pay the normal $97 price, but it's only for 30 minutes. And then you'll have everything we'll be talking about on the stream step by step. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Okay, Mel, what's going on? A 5-year loan to buy a 2022 Jeep Compass. Is it good to trade in for a lease now? So this sounds like, Mel, you figured out you should be leasing, not buying. And now you're like, should I make that move now? In my book, step 1 is the leasing versus buying question, because this is the foundation of your car deal. You need to know how you're going to beat depreciation. So normally what happens is when people learn about the 8-year rule, which says if you're not buying a car to keep it for 8 years, then you should be shopping for a below market lease, not a purchase. So when people learn that, oftentimes they're like, okay, I know I'm not keeping this car. I'm in 8 years. Should I wait or should I transition to a lease now? There is no benefit to you waiting. As long as your equity situation isn't so bad where it's going to stop you from transitioning to a lease, the play is to move to a lease as soon as possible, because you're not going to get the money back you're putting into owning these cars. The only people that get the money back for owning these cars are long-term owners. 8 years, 10 years. We got people on here who have cars. I'm sure some of you have had cars for 8, 10, 12 years, maybe even more. We usually get somebody on here that has a car for more than 15 years. This is the people who get all the money out the cars. So if you're keeping a car in a short term, you're not getting the money out of them. You're putting the money in, But then when you go to replace it and you see how much you're getting back for it, you're like, wait, all this money I put in, this is all I'm getting back. That's why you don't want to put the money in. And that's what happens with below market leases. You look at somebody like Zafrina. Zafrina's driving a $65,000 vehicle, Jeep Grand Cherokee. I got it here on the screen. She's paying $579 a month, no money down. So $65,000 vehicle, that would normally be $1,200-1,300. She's paying $579 a month, no money down. She's never putting the money in. Raphael, she has a Jeep. This is her second car using our process. This is my second car. Look, she said it worked. Follow a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4x4. MSRP is $46,000. Well, it's $45,900, but let's say 46. Payments $549. That's a 1.19% lease. That's normally at $45,000 before we even throw the taxes in. That's normally a $900 payment on a 5-year loan. You can type that into any auto loan calculator and see. So you're going from $900 to $549. $900 is what people are paying to buy, unless they put more money down. And then, see, people never factor in their money down. So that's why I always, when I'm talking to you, I'm going to let you know how much it costs with no money down. Because if it's $900 a month with no money down, but you decide you want to put $15,000 down, you can't tell people, well, my car payment's only $700 a month. What about the $15,000? Let's divide that, and then you'll see, no, it was actually $900 a month that you put into this vehicle. So that's why I compare, in every case, no money down, so we can really see how much these vehicles are costing us. So when you're paying $900 a month, you need to try to get that money back. And after a while, you'll see if you pay the car off and you keep it a long time, it makes sense. If you keep a car, somebody just said I had an 03 Camry from day one. Look, 307,000 miles. Now, time heals all wounds. He could have paid $10,000 too much for that Camry. Just overpaid. He didn't know what he was doing. It was supposed to be 20. They charged him 30. But if he kept the vehicle 20 years, do you see how that doesn't quite matter? What would matter is the short term. The short term. So the key is understanding, if I'm not keeping my vehicle long term, 8+ years, I shouldn't be buying, because I'm not going to beat the depreciation. I should be shopping for deals like Raphael got, like Zafrina got, like Jen got, like Ansley got, where they're leasing these vehicles, driving brand new cars, not putting a lot of money into them. They're paying cents on the dollar. These are below market leases. These aren't regular leases. And then you're beating depreciation that way because you're not putting a bunch of money into these vehicles. So there's no benefit, Mel, in waiting. You should do your equity assessment. You've already done step one, deciding whether you're going to buy